How did you deal with the connection between the staff and knowing you're going through a sale?
Do you know, that was tough. We spent so long, working with our staff and, building the business. They become your friends, and to be able to keep going to work, going into the office, and not saying a word about what's going on. And it's sort of that analogy of a duck on water. Everything above the surface looks nice, calm and serene, but under the water, those beat up badly. and I think there was, you felt that whilst you had the buzz of this going in the background, you still had everything going on, on the day to day. And whilst we obviously, we had to bring in the senior staff into the discussion so they were what was going on. That was hard. I must say, I did find that quite difficult, and especially when we got to the point of, having done the deal and then announcing it to the staff, and then seeing them start to go through that journey. That was not easy. No.
And I think again, that's where if an intermediary were involved, they could actually help bridge that gap between the staff and the shareholders about how they achieve something, because not every deal is going to be the same, is it? Not everyone's going to be to trade and it's 100%. Some could be partial in, some out, like ours. It gives an incentive to some of the staff.
Yeah.
At what point do you bring them in to help them so that they feel like they're owning it, which could help the exit as well because of the mood of the camp afterwards? So I think it's exciting times for Tidal.
I think it is. People naturally don't like change, and I think it's again, for us, through our experience, to be able to talk to shareholders that are exiting, for people that are staying, just say, look, this is how things could pan out. At least it allows them, gives them that ammunition of, right, this is how we should deal with it. As you say, every situation is different. We can't, couch for every type of situation, but for the staff, it's again just being able to say these are the things that will happen, could happen, and just allow, because any shareholder who's going to leave their business or sell their business, they want to make sure that everyone's looked after. And it's just trying to deal with, navigate your journey really,
and see the success beyond sale. Because as much as people and shareholders put themselves on a pedestal, the actually mainstay of the business is the people that work in it, because they're the ones that generate the success in it.
If it's if it's a services business, yes. If it's manufacture and products, again, it's slightly different. But I also think for us, because we'd never been through a sale, we were so focused on the day-to-day delivery of the business that you didn't really have time to think about it. And to be able to go through this journey, and as I said, with any sale, there'll be ups and downs. And it's to get to a point and to also know when to maybe push back, because we didn't know.
Yeah.
And
so much that's the emotion side again, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. Because you ask yourself, for the sale, what's the outcome? One of the biggest outcomes is getting time back, time for our families, time for, to be able to do the things. Maybe we want to do different things, but you again focus on that there are probably times where you think, oh, should we have maybe looked at some of the details a bit closer? I'm not saying we shouldn't or shouldn't have, but it's just having those kind of discussions to say to somebody, this is what that actually means. Because whilst you've got your legal advisors, a lot of the wording is in legal speak, and just to have it in layman's terms that says, that's what it actually means, guys. Are you happy with that? Yes or no?